Our ancestors taught us that gender is in all things. This is one of the 7 universal principles of the Kabbalion. When we study history or our story, worldwide for that matter, we find that wherever there was a god, there was a goddess. In ancient civilizations, these goddesses was known by many names. Before the birth of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, thoughts of peace be upon him, you had Alet, you had Manat, that word man, there was a goddess known as Manat. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Dr. Yaqub Shabazz was born 20 miles from the holy city of Mecca. What is 20 miles from the holy city of Mecca? 20 miles from the holy city of Mecca is the city of Jeddah. Jeddah is a city of the goddess, the grandmother, the fertility goddess in antiquity. So these goddesses, Al-Uzza, you had goddesses of war, marriage, fertility, power, and strength. The heavens, in ancient Kemet or Black Egypt, you had Isis, or Set, as she was known in her ancient original name. She was a goddess of fertility. You had Aphrodite over in ancient Greece. Inanna later became known as Ishtar, in the ancient Anunnaki or Sumerian regions of ancient Babylon or Iraq, and these goddesses was known all over ancient China. In China, you had the goddess known as Nua. These goddesses did not form a competition with the gods or the men or the male principle. They complemented them. And a lot of times, a lot of brothers in the struggle for freedom, justice, and equality, they forget that universal balance. They forget about the mothers of civilization. She plays a role. Where there's Father God, there was always Mother Nature. Struggle continues. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches us about the sons and daughters of gods. He teaches us, haven't you read in the Bible wherein it teaches you that they saw one angel on the sea, and he caused the sea to become a corrupted power for anyone to use. He turned it all into poison by dropping something out of the heavens. The Bible teaches he dropped a star in the water from heaven and made it unfit for the people to stay on the water. It said when they dropped that star, all the people that was in the sea died, right? That's Bible, Revelation chapter 16, verse 3. The messenger said this on June the 18th of 1972. He said, I want you to know that this is not white people that will drop that star. It will be black people. You are the sons and daughters of gods of your kind who rules the whole earth. So here we have the singular. They saw one angel on the sea, and it's a mass. This one angel happened to be a male. He caused it. They saw one angel on the sea, and he caused the sea to become a corrupted power for anyone to use. He turned it all into poison by dropping something. It's not telling you what it is, but he dropped something that came out of the heavens. Not heaven, but heavens with an S on it, family. The Bible teaches, again, that's talking about Bible, Revelation chapter 16, verse 3. The Bible teaches he dropped a star in the water from heaven and made it unfit for the people to stay on the water. It said when they dropped that star, now this singular angel becomes multiple. It said when now there's no longer he or the one angel. Now there's multiple angels. Now it's a multitude of angels. It's plural. It went from the singular to the plural. It said when they dropped that star, all the people that was in the sea died, right? I want you to know that this is not white people that will drop that star. It will be black people. So here the one angel, which is a he, turns into a they, and that they is recognized by Messenger Elijah Muhammad on June 18, 1972 as black people. What does this mean, family? This angel that's going to place 1 foot on the sea and 1 foot on the land represents a man who represents a people that will become so powerful that they will have power to drop knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from heaven or from their own minds that will be able to have an effect on all the organized religions, all of these currents, all of these ways, all of these mystery gods that are taught in all of these thousands of organized religions. The people will be mentally dead that believe, that continue to hold on to that magic, that spooky, that mystery God. But the scriptures teaches in the Bible that in the last days, when the 7th angel sounds his trumpet, that the mystery of God will be finished. This is the reality. Remember, you are not just the sons, you are the sons and daughters of gods of your kind, who rules the whole earth, covering 196,940,000 square miles. Many of you, if you think about it, if you listen carefully to what they teach, what they believe, what they practice, they really believe in a mystery God. The messenger teaches us in our lesson 17 Ways for Islamic Culture about it is not right to pray as a Muslim and then continue in Christian ways. Many of our brothers and sisters in the struggle for freedom, justice, and equality, they literally will call the Adhan. They will make wudu, tayammum, gusha, istinja. They'll make salat. But when you watch them and you observe them and listen to them, they're talking about a mystery God. They're talking about the very enemy, that spooky idea that the true and living God, Master Fard Muhammad, to whom all praises are due forever, came to destroy. See, the true and living God is an iconoclast. He crushes the very image of that mystery God, the fake images of nothingness, believing that nothing is something, worshiping nobody as somebody, believing that nothing has power over everything. That concept is from Yaqub. It is a lie. That's the teachings of the 10%, the rich, the slave makers of the poor who teach the poor lies. The 5% job and duty is to be not only the poor righteous teachers, but to make sure that they're teaching the true and reality of the true and living God, who is not a spook, but is the Son of Man. The black man is God, family. The messenger teaches us on July 2nd, 1972 in the Theology of Time. He said, and I quote him, "God and I love you so much that he sent me to tell you that which is to make gods out of you." Here we see that the messenger is speaking in the future tense. He's not saying that which Master Muhammad taught him made, past tense, gods out of us. He said, no, which is to make. Which is to make. Is to make means in the future. You see? God and I love you so much that he sent me to tell you that which is to make gods out of you. You say, meaning in this day and time, we hear many of our people, you say, I know I will never be a god. You see, you think that in order for you to be a god, you got to float on cloud 9, have a halo come over your head, have some white wings grow out your back. You gotta walk on eggshells and be holier than thou, and you gotta fast and eat 1 meal a week, and none of that makes you God. You got plenty of people that do that stuff and they still believe in a mystery God. If you do not believe in yourself, you're worshiping a mystery God. If you're not a self-believer, you're worshiping a mystery God. The messenger says, God and I love you so much that he sent me to tell you that which is to make gods out of you. You say, I know I will never be a God. Yes, you already are a God. When we talk about the black woman, we're not speaking of her as competition. When we say man, we're talking about all of humanity, because all of humanity has their origin in the original man. You find me an original man, you find me any man, you'll find me a person that has the X and the Y chromosome. They had a masculine and a feminine principle in their very blood, in their bone marrow, in their DNA, in their atomic structure. This is the nature of reality. The Messenger teaches us in June 4th, 1972, Theology of Time. He teaches us the lower heavens, which the scientists refer to as our heaven, the sun family they call it, contains about 9 planets. He said about. Now means in this day and time, there's some dispute about the planet Platoon or Pluto, 4,600,000,000 miles away from the planet Earth. But that's another subject for another time. That red sun rules the 9 planets, and the 9 planets is the kingdom of God, which also represents his godlike wisdom and power. Just those 9 planets. Then he makes a woman to imitate those 9 planets. So, brother, don't take her for nothing. She's something too. You know, we always have, since the devil, white man, made us do it, looked upon our woman as nothing. Yet, so many of them can guide some of us men folks. They're not all fools. They're wise too, because you made them wise. And the most beautiful part of them, God made them to comfort us, and that's the best that man wishes for. He wishes for comfort, and that's in the woman. Without our woman, brother, we would be pretty lonesome creatures. In fact, we would not have nothing to produce ourselves. You've got to have the woman to keep the production of the human nature going. Let me take y'all into the secret vaults of the Supreme Angels. This is from Emily Sands from 1926. It's a book of Egyptology or Kemetology. All right. She, in her visit to Egypt or Kemet, she discovered different things, and she made various notes and drawings of her observations. And one of the things that she explained in this particular tome is that all around Egypt, she explained the Theban triad. At Karnak, we learned that the most ancient Egyptian cities had their own triads of gods, a father, mother, and son. See, our concept of God was a nation of gods and goddesses, the family. There was no, when you hear people talking about a sky god, it's the concept from the Kabbalah, and as above, so beneath, as it is within, so it is without. That was a natural mathematical phenomena to those that practice those types of teachings. Now, I mean, so we have Usar or Osiris, the male principle of God. We have Aset or Isis, the mother goddess. We have Heru or Horus, which we call a hero in this day and time, or the son, or the reproduction, or the continuation of that bloodline. Now, I mean, it was nothing spooky. There was no mystery god floating around in the sky. There were no aliens coming down from another planet and things of that nature there, teaching them how to build pyramids. There were no Jewish slaves building the pyramids for some radical pharaoh. You know, it's just a lot of spooky stuff. Now, I mean, but the let me go to the beginning of here for a minute. Okay. Let's look at this reproduction of an actual papyrus. You know, notice Usar is wearing a crown of Upper and Lower Egypt. See that region, Nubia, the Sudan, even Kush, Ethiopia. Now, I mean, it was nothing but black people living on the planet Earth. The Red Sea, what we call the Red Sea today, was in the north. It was connected to the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal was connected to what? Arabia, Asia Minor. Now, I mean, that area, Turkey, Syria, Jordan, Israel, Palestine, Mecca, Jeddah, all of that was ours. Now, I mean, Iran, Iraq, ancient Babylon, Samaria, all of that was the land of black folks. Plain and simple. It's no, we could get into the languages, the cultures, which came first and things of that nature. It's a lot of guesswork and speculation. And it's just simply a lot of things we just don't know. It's a lot of things we will never, ever, ever, ever know. You see? But the basic general idea that black people are the founders of ancient civilization is right and exact. Now, I mean, here we have what they call the Foncombe Papyrus. The two lines of hieroglyphics on the left read, Isis, Lady of Heaven, Mistress of the Gods. She grants that you may live forever and eternity. On the right, Osiris, the great god, foremost in the west, Lord of Osiris, who is in the holy mount. This is not me translating meta-netta and all that kind of stuff. This is the actual notes from 1926 on the arrival at Cairo. It was on a Monday, the 1st of November, 1926. Now, I mean, but what they found was a black civilization. Now, I mean, these were white folks that, you know, white men, white women, and they was like, yo, this civilization was an advanced civilization that had all these black gods and goddesses. I mean, it's just simply no way. Let me put this back in there. It's simply no way around that. I mean, that was the reality of it. You know, it's like here she wrote on Monday, the 8th of November, 1926, Isis, the wife of Osiris. Isis found the scattered parts of her husband's body. She used them to make the first mummy, which she buried in secret and protected with powerful magic spells. Osiris. Legend tells that Osiris, the murdered king of Upper and Lower Egypt, ruled for a great many years before becoming lord of the underworld after his death. Could this story be a memory of a real king? Horus, son and avenger of Osiris. Hawk-headed Horus became king of Egypt after his father's death. He ruled justly, and many temples were raised in his worship. Seth, the enemy of Osiris. His brother Seth coveted the throne of Egypt for many years. It is said that after he killed Osiris, Seth cut the body into pieces before hiding them in 14 different secret locations. Now, you know, when people hear about something and find stuff that's from thousands of years ago, naturally they're going to have to interpret it and use their own translations and transliterations, but it's thousands of years after the fact. I mean, so of course they naturally going to have certain misunderstandings, misinterpretations, preconceived ideas, fallacies in their concepts, you know, but basically what you really hear, if you think about it, it's just like any black family. Now, I mean, this brother envious of that brother. Now, I mean, they get in a fight. Brother kills brother. I mean, son come avenge his dad and kills his uncle. Now, I mean, as time goes on, Seth becomes Satan. I mean, becomes Shaitan. You know, I mean, becomes the devil, the bad guy. Now, I mean, you know, associated with the swine and thing. You know, the wife's magnetics, her mental ideas, her determination, her magnetic personality. You know, her assertiveness is considered magic. I mean, because she's doing mathematical wonders. She's pissed. She's trying to avenge her husband. Now, I mean, but it's nothing spooky about it. Now, I mean, it's like passing them stories down from generation to generation. Ultimately, you know, they become legends. Now, I mean, and we get it all twisted and spooked all up, you know, but you know, these mummies, she explained, mummies have been used for strange things. When American writer Mark Twain visited Egypt, he wrote that they even used them as fuel for his steamboat. I'm afraid we wouldn't get very far with this piece. They found this piece of mummy on November the 13th, on a Saturday, November the 13th at Saqqara, Egypt. in 1926. You know, Europeans didn't understand mummies. Historically, you know, some white people used to physically eat mummies. Now, I mean, you know how people eat rhino horns, you know, for fertility and all that stuff. They used to literally physically eat our ancestors because they thought they could incorporate their God and goddess powers into better health and vitality and fertility and things of that nature there. You know what I mean? So people get spooky all the time. That's not a new concept. No, that's how this thing go. So I just wanted y'all to think about some of these concepts. Now, I mean, so when we talk about the goddess, we're not saying the goddess was before the god. I mean, we're not saying Isis was more powerful than Osiris. No. I mean, the message teaches us when we talk about God, we say he and him, father, king, Lord, master, I mean, brother. I mean, you know, we feel pretty cheap referring to that original one as a she. We say he is the original man. I mean, the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. There was no one. Not only was there no women, there was no thing. There was no atoms. There was no sun, moon, stars, water, ideas, energy, brain cell. It was nothing before the original man, the black man. The black man is God. Know what I mean? But from that black man, from that original mind, that determined idea, is the manifestation of everything that we have in creation. Therefore, everything in creation has its root in that original man's mind. We call it in this day and time the creator. Scientists will call it energy. You know, they attribute an effect without a cause. The scientists will be like, there was a big bang, but they don't tell you what caused the big bang. I mean, they don't have a science, or they don't have a theory that covers everything, if you will. Now, I mean, that's a blind spot for them. You know, it's the same thing with all the thousands of religions on the planet Earth. They be like, in the beginning, the creator did this, that, and the other. He created the heavens. What? How did the creator create himself? Who created this creator? That's the blind spot. Now, I mean, so should we sit around and wait upon that mystery God? You know, we look for that mystery God. The message teaches us we searched for 66 trillion years for that mystery God. We was unable to find a mystery God. So we're no longer looking for no mystery God. We're confident the black man is God. Always was, always will be.